should absolutely be able to question what is going on. And for those of you out there, so I'm never listening again, knock yourself out. There's other places you can go. If you can't question the President of the United States, and if you feel like, nope, doesn't matter what he does, I'm all in, I don't care if there was something horrible that happened or if he's covering up for his buddies or any of that stuff, if you can't question that, that is a cult. I don't do cults. I don't. And I'm not going to. He brought this on himself because he hired somebody who I had high hopes for. I thought Pam Bondi, of all the people that was out there, was supposed to be controversial. I thought she was going to be the best. She's been useless. She's been useless. And now you've got situations where you look around and you think to yourself, you're bringing up stuff that nobody asked about. You're throwing things out there that, quite frankly, wasn't, I think, too much on people's minds. And it's the deep state. It's this. It's that. It's a hoax. You're insulting people who supported you, who, might I add, you've gone, your son, you, your supporters, many people that are in your corner across the board have put their reputations on the line, have talked about this, and now it's a hoax. And you don't want anything to do with them? Sorry, that didn't fly.
I don't understand what he's claiming to be a hoax.
That's the whole thing. At no point in time, up until 10 days ago, I didn't think he was too much involved in any of this stuff. Yeah, people knew that he had a relationship. What kind of relationship? Well, we don't know because we don't know how deep everything went, how long, how back the files went, any of that stuff. They just look from a certain time. It's kind of what we're being told. And now, out of nowhere, it becomes a hoax. And now, out of nowhere, what was supposed to be the most transparent of all doesn't seem to be very transparent. And now you don't want to talk about it. And why isn't everybody focusing on all my stuff? What about the victims? What about those? What about which I never hear anybody talking about at this point in time. What about the victims? What about the people out there who suffered at the hands of a monster that maybe our country participated in? What about them? What about those kind of situations where they felt they had zero power, because they didn't, up against powerful men, in situations where they didn't really have anybody, right? These weren't powerful young women who come from amazing families who could go to their parents who are just as powerful as the potential perpetrators. No.
If there was anybody in our government that participated in trafficking young girls, they, at minimum, deserve to be in prison.
Yeah.
And if they knew about it and weren't involved, but they knew, they have no business being in office.
Yeah. No business. If you worked for our intelligence agencies and you thought this is the thing that you were supposed to do so you could secure some sort of arrangement down the road that potentially would get jobs and grades, no, sorry. Coming out and insulting people and saying it's a hoax day in and day out. Now it's a hoax. What was the hoax? Bell's right.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net, and so they try and do the Democrats' work.
What? I have no idea what that even means. They're doing who's doing the Democrats? You brought this up. So if you say this is a hoax, then what you're telling me and everybody else is you and all your cronies lied to everybody and stirred this thing up for years because it helped benefit you. Dan Bongino profited off this? I'd like to think Dan is not that kind of person. What's Andrew Schultz call him? Cockeyed Cash? I'd like to think he's not that kind of person. Wouldn't you? No, we could sit here. We could talk, oh, the economy's great, all of these things. Yeah, that's fine. But now I don't believe you. Now I have questions. And questions that started because you wanted to be transparent in everything. You wanted to bring stuff out, make sure that everybody saw it. Great. That sounds great. But what now? And the fact that you insulted people, this is a no, I'm sorry. That's ridiculous. That is. And for some people out there, it doesn't matter. For some people out there, he could show up at your house and shoot your dog today, and you're going to celebrate him.
On Fifth Avenue.
On Fifth Avenue. But yesterday, when I heard even Mike Johnson, let's be real, Mike, probably arguably one of the most boring guys in political history, come out and say, we need some transparency. Why is that? Because now this becomes the only story for him. Because as we were joking, Bell and I were watching, he's doing a press conference earlier, and it's like, raise your hands if you have any question for me or the guy from Bahrain. All right, now raise your hand if you got any questions about the whole Epstein thing. Everybody raise their hands kind of thing. This is what it's going to become, and it's going to undermine things going forward because now people have questions, and now that you're insulting people, that ain't going to help you either.
But I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it. They were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety and election integrity and going after Act Blue and the things that the president is most concerned about, as we are. So I'm anxious to get this behind us.
And I think that's what they all want to do. Because you know what? It's one of those things now where if you've been inside of a locker room, a lot of you probably have, but you see it in sports. Right? Something happens and everybody, even if you're the last person on the team, you got to spend an hour answering questions about something you don't want to answer questions for because you don't even know what to do. You don't know what to say because you've been put in a position and you didn't think. So, no, and this, you know, people wonder why I don't have politicians. I'll tell you why I don't have politicians on. Because I don't worship him. Some of you do. Some of you, especially Trump. I do not. I want to be able to criticize without having to get into an argument with somebody and being fair and honest. I like a lot of what Trump's done. This is a swing and a miss. And if you can't see that, man, there's some issues right there. There is some issues. And it's not just him. The administration is swung and missed. And when I talk about the victims, because I heard somebody yesterday call and talk to Chris, and they were a victim of sexual abuse. I'll tell you, as a kid, I was. And it was awful. It was horrible. So when I hear stuff like this, it is vile and disgusting. And to think that somehow we would be like, well, we don't really want to know now. No, we should want to know. And you made it what it is. But you've also insulted people who really have busted their ass to help get you over the line. And a younger group of voters in particular, you know, they're not thrilled by this. And I don't think this helped this morning. My brother's a perfect example. Him and his friends, he was beyond apoplectic this morning thinking, what the hell? I mean, I you know, he wears his MAGA hat in California, gets yelled at all the time. He's got a Tesla, all of those things. He's in there going, you know what? What a giant waste. I feel like you're going to insult me over that. So you should be frustrated. And if there's no there, then let it be. But to sit here and say, oh, get over it. It's all, no, people aren't. And when you insult them, they're definitely not. Because now what you've done is you've made it personal. And how many times in life have you been in an argument? And it's an argument that's a valid argument over something. But then somebody goes right for the grundle and makes it personal. And now, even if you're in the wrong, doesn't matter anymore because you made it personal. Which sucks. I mean, it does. But this was a failure to communicate. It started with Pam Bondi and that night, but it also started years ago when they started bringing Epstein up. And this thing went from in the QAnon rooms to the, to the Alex Jones world, to the somewhat mainstream, and then on to all the podcasts. And then the thing grew from there. And all of a sudden it became a lot more mainstream. And then it landed here and it became an issue. But the issue was about transparency. And now doesn't feel like it's a lot about transparency.